Live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Hello there, good evening and welcome to the National News Broadcast. I'm Niket Karunaratne.
Hello there, very warm welcome to the news. I'm Sharifa Tahir. Let's take a look at the headlines.
The threat on the Aluth-Diulweva tank bund disappears. The Marina Development Port City construction begins. Duminda Silva is back to the general ward from the prison hospital. The government reiterates that it is committed to establishing the supremacy of the law. Deputy Minister Eranga says that there was a misuse of funds allocated for the youth by the previous regime. South Asia's first women's tourist hotel in Dambulla. Los Angeles authorities declare a health emergency as California fires spread into new areas.
We move on to those and other stories in detail, taking a look at local news first. President Anurakumara Dissanayake will undertake a state visit to the People's Republic of China from the 14th to the 17th of this month at the invitation of President Xi Jinping. During the visit, President Dissanayake will hold bilateral discussions with President Xi Jinping on a range of areas of mutual interest and will also meet Chinese Premier Li Qiang and the chairman of the Standing Committee of the National People's Congress of China, Zhao Leji. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Employment and Tourism says that the president's visit would further strengthen the long-standing relations between Sri Lanka and China. Meanwhile, China says that it is ready to deepen political trust and strengthen existing ties during the visit of President Anurakumara Dissanayake. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Guo Jiakun made those comments at the ministry press briefing held in Beijing yesterday.
The upcoming visit will be President Anurakumara Dissanayake's first visit to China after taking office. It is of great importance to the development of China-Sri Lanka relations. During the visit, President Xi Jinping will hold talks with President Anurakumara Dissanayake and Premier Li Qiang and Chairman Zhao Leji of the Standing Committee of the National People's Congress will meet with him respectively. China and Sri Lanka have long been each other's friend and close neighbor. Since our two countries established diplomatic ties in 1957, the bilateral relationship has stood the test of the changing international landscape, always maintained sound and steady growth, and set up a fine example of friendly relations and mutually beneficial cooperation between countries different in size. China stands ready to work with Sri Lanka through the upcoming visit to carry forward our time-honored friendship, deepen political mutual trust, and expand high-quality Belt and Road cooperation and practical cooperation in various fields for continuous new progress in advancing the China-Sri Lanka strategic cooperative partnership featuring sincerity, mutual support, and everlasting friendship, as well as more benefit for the two peoples.
Reservoir in Galin-Bilinduweva is appeared to have dissipated. The Department of Irrigation says repairing of the tank bund has been successfully completed after a continuous 48-hour operation. The recent incessant rains in the area had made the water level reach the spill level. There had been a sinking near the southern anekat of the lake and a water leakage was seen last morning. As a result, around 100 families living in the vicinity of the tank were relocated to safe areas. Officials of the Galin-Bilinduweva Irrigation Engineer's Office, the army personnel and residents effort to minimize the water leakage by placing sandbags as a temporary measure to block the water flow. However, their efforts were in vain when further earth slips were witnessed in the tank bund near the anekat. As a result, arrangements were made to facilitate the flow of water from an outer location. Finally, the irrigation officials were able to stop the water leak by this afternoon.
The Department of Meteorology forecasts showers or thunder showers may occur at times in northern, north-central, eastern, over and central provinces. Heavy showers above 100 millimeters can be expected at some places in eastern, over and central provinces and in Polonnaruwa district. The Met report adds that showers or thunder showers is expected to occur at several places elsewhere during the afternoon and night. Fairly heavy showers above 75 millimeters can be expected at some places in Western and Sabaragamuwa provinces and in Galle, Mathura and Kurunegala districts. Fairly strong winds of 30 to 40 kilometers per hour can be expected at times over northern, eastern, north central and northwestern provinces and in Hambantota district. According to the report, there is also a possibility of sea waves rising to a length of between 2 and 2.5 meters in the sea areas beyond the coast from Mullaitivu in Batticlaw via Trincomalee. The fishing and naval communities are being informed to remain vigilant on the condition at the sea. Our correspondent says 6 spill gates of the Kaudulla tank have been reopened due to heavy rains falling in the Polonnaruwa area. The sluice gates facilitates a flow of 1,000 cubic feet of water in a second to the Kahambilia Oya. Residents using the waters of the Kahambilia Oya are requested to remain vigilant.
Port City Colombo celebrated the groundbreaking of the marina development, a $120 million investment held under the patronage of Minister Vijitha Herath yesterday. Ultra-luxury marina development at Port City Colombo is being undertaken as a joint venture between Browns Investments plc, LOLC Holdings Group and the CHEC Port City Company, spanning a total land area of 3.1 hectares. It is comprised with a capacity of 250 crafts. Minister Vijitha Herath further said the project represents a transformative leap for Sri Lanka.
Imprisoned former parliamentarian Duminda Silva was reported to have transferred to a general ward in the Valikada prison from the prison hospital. He was admitted to the prison hospital on the recommendations of the consultant doctor of the Sri Jayawardhanapura Hospital and provided residential treatment. The Commissioner General of Prisons was reported to have made a written inquiry from the Director General of Health Services to find out whether Duminda Silva needs to have further residential treatment at the prison hospital. A team comprising of 18 specialist doctors was appointed to look into this matter. The recommendation of the committee was that the former parliamentarian has no need to receive treatment at the prison hospital and also there is no need to transfer him to another hospital. The recommendations adds that in the event of any emergency complications, emergency treatment should be extended without delay. The relevant instructions in this connection have also been given to the superintendent of the Valikada prison as well.
Deputy Minister Sunil Vatagala says the law will be implemented equally on all. Addressing a media briefing in Colombo today, he further said that the government is committed to establishing the supremacy of the law. Deputy Minister Sunil Vatagala said that the law should prevail in the country, but it should become applicable to all disregarding ranks. It is a privilege to be enjoyed by every citizen. The government's program has practically shown that the law of the country should be implemented equally for all.
Deputy Minister R.M. Jayawardena says that the circular pertaining to the importation of rice, which was expired last night, will not be extended further. He made these remarks in an observation tour in Lunugambehera this morning. The Deputy Minister during the tour has looked into the possibility of reactivating the Pannegamo rice mill in Lunugambehera and also to modernize the storage complex. Deputy Minister R.M. Jayawardena said that they as a government have accepted the responsibility of purchasing paddy and supplying rice from this year. In order to do so, the rice mills and the outer environment will have to be cleaned. Thereafter, paddy purchasing will commence. The Deputy Minister also said the government will ensure that consumers will not have to experience any shortage of rice. The government paddy purchasing mechanism is expected to commence soon. The government aims to stockpile paddy and rice with the objective of providing rice to the general public at reasonable prices. The customs was reported to have cleared a total of more than 167,000 metric tons of imported rice by midnight yesterday. The stock included 66,000 metric tons of red raw rice and 101,000 metric tons of parboiled rice. The customs also said 8,000 metric tons of imported rice are yet to be released. The government has given special permission for a brief period to the importers to import rice due to the rise of shortage in Nadu and red raw rice in the local market.
Youth Affairs Deputy Minister Eranga Gunasekara accuses the previous regime for misappropriating the funds allocated for the youth. He has made these remarks at a media briefing held at the Diagama International Sports Complex in Homagama today. Deputy Minister Eranga Gunasekara said that last year the budget had allocated only 1 billion rupees for the youth in the country. He further said that at the same time the Youth Services Council had spent a massive 323 million rupees for the political projects of former President Ranil Wickremesinghe and former Minister Harin. An audit report has been presented on these expenditures. The Deputy Minister also said that an investigation has commenced on the project. 9 musical concerts were conducted. He also said that the organizers of these projects have pointed out as the reasons for conducting such shows to alleviate the mental depressions caused to the youth of the country from the COVID pandemic and the Aragalaya. However, when analysing these utterances, it has been found out that the COVID pandemic came into force 4 years ago and the Aragalaya came in 2 years before the conducting of these shows. Both Ranil and Harin had realised the mental trauma of the youth several years after these occurrences, but they have spent unnecessary more than 223 million rupees on unnecessary projects. The funds for these events had been reserved, stating that the program would pave the way to decrease the affliction of non-communicable diseases among the younger generation by the year 2030.
The services of General Secretary of the National Olympic Committee Maxwell De Silva were suspended based upon several charges launched against him. Minister of Sports Sunil Kumar Gamage has taken the decision in this connection. Accusations have been levelled continuously against the officials of the Olympic Committee, including General Secretary of the NOC Maxwell De Silva, over breaching of ethics of the Olympic Committee. Amidst such a background, the International Olympic Committee has informed the National Committee to suspend the services of the NOC General Secretary with immediate effect. The National Olympic Committee, based upon the findings of an investigation report of the Ministry of Sports, has imposed a suspension order. The Ethics Committee of the National Olympic Committee has also recommended the conduction an internal investigation into the issue. However, the NOC had failed to extend appropriate response. As a result, the International Olympic Committee had informed the National Olympic Committee last November that action would have to be taken if the recommendations of the Ethics Committee were not implemented. Upon failure to consider the order of the directive, the International Olympic Committee had decided to suspend all financial allocations provided to the Sri Lanka Olympic Committee. Minister of Sports Sunil Kumar Gamage, after taking into consideration of the order, has decided to suspend the services of NOC General Secretary Maxwell De Silva with immediate effect.
Minister of Health and Mass Media Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa reiterates that no room would be left once again to recreate the environment of threatening, harming and taking revenge from media personnel as in the recent past. He also says the present government has more understanding than anybody else the dark past of the numerous former regimes bent on harassing media persons. The minister has made these remarks in response to a communique released to the media yesterday by former Minister Dallas Alhapperuma. Minister Dr. Jayatissa, replying to the critical statement by Dallas Alhapperuma on the present media situation, said that it was well known throughout the world on the destiny of media personnel who divulged the truth of the terror and corruption of the Rajapaksa regime. He has recalled the deaths of media personnel including Dharmaratnam Sivaram, alias Taraki, and Lasantha Wickrematunge during this period. The minister has also mentioned on the disappearances of many, including Pradeep Eknaligoda. The communique adds on the assaulting of other media persons including Upali Tennakon, Puttala Jayantha and Sanath Balasuriya. The minister has further pointed out that many media persons had to flee the country to safeguard their lives. The minister's statement also points out that during the terror periods of the Rajapaksa era, incidents such as sealing of media institutions, arresting of media personnel and detaining them in terrorist investigation units, setting fire and bombing to media institutions were common features. Minister Dr. Jayatissa further points out that it is astonishing to find Dallas Alhapperuma commenting on the present media situation, as he was one of the most trustworthy frontline ministers of the Rajapaksa regime. The minister in his communique reiterates that the present government will not hesitate to bring before the law the accused of the previous regimes in order to grant fairness and justice for all those who had suffered under those regimes. The prize-giving and certificate presentation of the second batch in the Acting Academy training program organised by the Research and Training Unit of the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation, was conducted yesterday.
Chairman of SLRC Gihan De Silva and Director General Manoj Nadeshana Amarasinghe presided over the event. The event took place at the Studio 3 of the corporation. 34 students who have successfully completed the course received certificates. In addition to the senior management of the National Television, directors Oimalaratna Adhikari, Susiren De Silva, Chandana Irugal Bandara, Supun Ratnayaka, Taranga Disanayaka and Ravindra Vijayasekara attended the event along with Ranga Jayakuri and Chamal Ratnayaka. At this occasion, Tulin Jayanatha Kumarasinghe received the Gayaramya Alves Memorial Award. Mahesh Mudita Sampath Rupasinghe received the Dhamma Jagara Award presented to the best student of the academy.
The Los Angeles authorities have declared a local health emergency due to poor air quality as ash and smoke blanketed the area. California's governor has called for an independent investigation into how critical fire hydrants ran out of water and impaired the fight against the Los Angeles area wildfires. At least 11 people have been killed in the fires so far, and it's estimated that more than 10,000 homes and other structures have been destroyed. An evacuation order has expanded near the Palisades fire as officials continue to work to contain the blaze, which has raged since Tuesday. A forecast for more strong winds is raising fears that the blaze could spread further, and a red flag warning indicating critical fire conditions is in place. At least 6 fires are burning right now. The newest blaze, called the Archer Fire, started on Friday and is not under control. The wildfires still burning across Los Angeles are believed to have left thousands of people without a home to return to. Several of the fires have enriched or entirely destroyed some of the city's most exclusive neighborhoods, the type of enclaves where a number of A-list celebrities have made their homes. Sir Anthony Hopkins, Mel Gibson, Billy Crystal, Paris Hilton and Jeff Bridges are among those big names who entirely lost their luxury homes to raging fires.
A meeting between Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya and international members of the Salvation Army was held in the Parliament complex yesterday. International leaders of the Salvation Army, General Lyndon Buckingham, Commissioner Bramwin Buckingham and Commander of the local Salvation Army Colonel Nihal Hettiarachchi were also present at the meeting.
Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa says that the Ministry of Health and Mass Media has made plans to popularize homeopathy treatment services in Sri Lanka. He has made these remarks participating in an observation tour at the Homeopathy Hospital in Valisara. The Valisara Hospital is the only homeopathy hospital owned by the government. Around 200 patients seek treatment daily from the outpatient department of this hospital. A residential patient treatment unit is functioning 24 hours every day. The minister, upon inspection, has participated in a meeting attended by the hospital staff and representatives of the Homeopathy Medical Council. Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa said that the government is able to maintain simultaneously several ministries, including the Ministry of Health and Indigenous Medicine. The minister added that they are also able to function at the same time Western, Siddhi, Unani, Ayurvedic, homeopathy and traditional Chinese acupuncture medical practices as well. Minister Dr. Jayatissa further said that the ultimate objective of all these activities is to create a healthy citizen. He has also pointed out that the citizen is the workforce of the nation and the person to enrich the treasury. He added that therefore they are working for the well-beings of the citizens.
The manufacturing tax on liquor has been increased by 6% with effect from today. The Ministry of Finance, in an extraordinary Gazette notification, has declared the price increase. According to the Gazette notification, the price of a 750 milliliter bottle of liquor is expected to increase by a minimum of 106 rupees. In parallel to this increment, the prices of other types of liquor would also go up by 5%. Meanwhile, the Ceylon Tobacco Company says the prices of cigarettes have also been increased with effect from today. The price increment comes under 4 categories. Accordingly, the price of a cigarette will be increased from 5 to 10 rupees.
In the meantime, South Asia's very first female tourist hotel was declared open in Kandalama in Dambulla yesterday. The unique feature of this hotel is that it is being functioned solely by a female staff. The hotel, which is amalgamated to the Thema Collection Institute, is named as Ambayalu. The female hotel is a concept of chairman of the institute, Chandra Vikramasinghe, with the intention of enhancing the contribution of women in the tourism sector. Another specialty of this location is the presence of many equipment related to old classical films and film sceneries. Another striking feature is the creation of the restaurant in the form of a cinema hall. Diplomats, tourist hotel owners were among those who were present at the new hotel's inauguration.
We now move on to more local news in brief. The Kahathuru police station has arrested 2 persons engaged in the ice narcotic racket yesterday. The police have taken into custody a sum of 85,000 rupees and a consignment of ice narcotics found in the possession of the suspects. The police further says the arrested persons were relatives. The Randoli Perehara of the historic Purana Navagamua Pattini Devale in Homagama has paraded the streets last night. The sacred casket of relics were carried by the Tasker Raja of the Kotte Rajamahaviharya. The Perehara, organised under the patronage of Chief Incumbent of the Viharya, Venerable Madhavita Vajra Buddhi Thera, included several cultural features as well. Ahmed Alkim Mohamed Razik, who represented Sri Lanka at the 2025 Global National Pageant Tournament, has secured the 3rd place. The event was conducted with the participation of competitors from 35 countries. The new indoor sports stadium of the Damisera National School in North India was declared open yesterday. The newly constructed stadium, built at a cost of 35 million rupees, has been named as DMM Disanayaka Memorial Indoor Stadium. The project has been implemented under the direction of principal of the school, KDC Ruwan Kumara. An 18-year-old youth was killed when the motorcycle in which he was travelling overturned in Jaliagama in Polgasovita. 8 passengers were injured when a private passenger bus went off the road and fell into a slope at the 10th mile post on the Badalapasara road this morning. The bus, fallen on this precipice, stopped by a hitting tree. 16 passengers were inside the bus at the time of the incident. 4 of the injured are undergoing treatment at the Pasar hospital. It is suspected that the accident caused due to the driver falling asleep. Well, that's it on local stories. We'll be back with news overseas. Since Moscow's all-out invasion of Ukraine, the UK will join the US in directly sanctioning energy companies Gazprom Neft and Surugneftgaz. The measures target more than 200 entities and individuals, ranging from traders and officials to insurance companies, as well as hundreds of oil tankers. Foreign Secretary of UK David Lammy says taking on Russian oil companies will drain Russia's war chest. Some of the measures announced by the US Treasury on Friday will be put into law, meaning the incoming Trump administration will need to involve Congress if it wants to lift them. Washington is also moving to severely limit who can legally purchase Russian energy and going after what it called Moscow's shadow fleet of vessels that ship oil around the world.
Prima Kutumi, Fantamai.
Welcome back, and we now move on to sports news. The third one-day international of the ongoing series between Sri Lanka and New Zealand has ended with Sri Lanka securing a 140-run victory.
However, New Zealand has won the current series 2-1. Today's match was played in Auckland, New Zealand. The Sri Lanka team, having won the toss, decided to bat first. The batters Pathum Nissanka and Avishka Fernando had opened the innings, and Nissanka managed to record his 16th half-century. However, Pathum Nissanka was compelled to leave the field retired hurt when the Sri Lankan score was at 66 runs. The first Sri Lanka wicket fell when Avishka Fernando was dismissed for 17 runs. Kusal Mendes has scored 54 runs, registering his 33rd half-century. Kamindu Mendes was out for 46 runs. Pathum Nissanka had returned to the field with the fall of the fourth Sri Lankan wicket. The fifth Sri Lankan wicket had fallen when Pathum Nissanka was out for 66 runs. Janith Lienage had also recorded his fourth half-century with a score of 53 runs. The Sri Lankan batsmen have been successful in 290 runs, losing 8 wickets. This was the highest score Sri Lanka had recorded in a one-day match in the Eden Park grounds in Auckland.
Here's a chance, and he's got to get back, and he does! Matt Henry's taken a rip. Edge, got to be, it's gone.
Clubs mid-side, coming forward, Siddle's underneath it and takens the battle, and Nissanka's got to go. Now that's off the hip.
And here we go. And it goes for 4 and 50.
The New Zealand inning with a victory target of 291 runs was initiated by Will Young and Rachin Ravindra. The openers were able to maintain only a partnership of 3 runs when Will Young was dismissed for no score. Rachin Ravindra managed to score just a single run. The Sri Lankan bowlers were capable enough to remove the 5 frontline batsmen for only 21 runs. The highest scorer for the New Zealanders was Mark Chapman, who hit a gallant 81 runs. Yet the New Zealand team was shot out for 150 runs in 29 overs and 4 deliveries. The highest wicket takers of the Sri Lanka team were Asithya Fernando, Mahesh Teekshida and Ishan Malinga, who captured 3 wickets each. The 140-run victory margin was the third highest secured by Sri Lanka in a one-day match against New Zealand. Man of the match was Asithya Fernando and man of the series was Matt Henry.
And that's all the news for tonight.